What's up guys? So today we're going to continue our inventory system and I'm going to teach you how to attach the objects to the hand, okay? So let's begin. The first thing we need is to go to our inventory folder, blueprints, and open our inventory component. Over here, we're going to create some utility functions that will help us handle the inventory data. So here on functions, we're going to say get item, which will be the first function. Now this will receive the item ID that we're trying to get. So ID, this will be a name. And now we can grab the items. We can say find and connect the ID over there. So this way we can easily go to the items list and find items from there. So now we can say return nodes and connect this over there. We can connect this boolean first and call it success. Now we can connect this and just leave it as it is, okay? Now we can go over here and check the function to pure, which means I don't have to connect it to anything before calling it, okay? Now compile and save. We're going to create another function here, which will be called get items, which will allow us to get all the items from the inventory. So we can get this items variable. Can get. Now we can say keys to get all the IDs. Now from here we can say values to get all the values of the inventory. And now we can say return nodes, and we can return the keys and the values. Now over here we can set the function to pure, and that's basically it. So if we go to our character now, where we added the function to list the inventory items over here on the event graph, instead of going to the items variable to the values, we can just say get items, and that will basically just return me the keys and values that I need. So I can just connect this here, move this here, and that's basically it. So we'll do the same thing, but it will be a little bit prettier. So we can compile and save, and we can close this. Now we can close both of these functions, and now we can click this one and we can change the category to utility like this, and then we can move the get items to the same category and organize this way. So compile save. Now we can start creating the functions to attach the item to the hand. First thing we're going to do is add a child actor component to our character so that we can essentially change the child actor class based on the item that we have equipped. So over here we can create a new function and call it create hand. Now here we can say get owner to get the owner of this actor component. So since we added the components to our character, the owner will be a character. So here we can say cast to character like this. And right now what we're going to do is from this character we're going to say add component by class, this one, and we're going to select child's actor components. Okay, now this pin over here we have to split the structure so that we don't have compile errors, and from here we're going to say attach components to components to essentially attach this child actor component to the character mesh. So we can move this here, and from the character we can say get mesh, and we can get this one and connect it to the parent. Okay, now the socket and everything else will be the same because we're not going to change it just yet. Okay, the last thing we're going to do is just save this into a variable. So we can just grab this and say promote to variable and call it hand object. This way we can use it later. We can connect this here, and that's basically it. So we can compile save, and if we go back to the event graph over here, we can say begin play and call the event begin play. And now we can call the create hand function so that when this component starts, the child actor will be added to our character, okay? Now the create end function, we can go over here, and on the access specifier, we can set it as private because we don't need to be calling this function from outside of this component. And on the category, we can also set it to private. And this way we just know which functions are used inside this component and which functions are meant to be used outside of this component, okay? So next thing we're going to do is create the function that will allow us to change the child actor of the end object that we just created. So over here on functions, we're going to create a new function called attach child, okay? We're going to move this into the private category, and we're going to set it as private over here. Now, this attach child function will receive the child that we want to attach the actor to, so child. And this will be a child actor component object reference, okay? From here, we can say set child actor class to set the blueprint that we want to use on the hand. As you can see, we can select the blueprint here. But this class will come from the function inputs, okay? Because this was supposed to come from the data tables. And now we can select this and just remove this in so that we can clean this up and leave it like this. Now, the next thing we're going to do is grab this child's component and say attach component to component, because this way we want to change the socket where it is attached to based on the socket that we're going to receive. So here we can just connect the socket over here and rename this to socket like this. And now the parent will be the same parent that it is currently attached to. So here we can say get attach parent, because the only thing we want to change is the socket, okay? So now on this settings over here, we're going to say snap to target, okay? So that it respects the transformations. Now, the last thing we're going to do is actually apply a relative transform so that we can adjust the position of our actor, okay? So here we can grab the child and say set relative transform, this one. And now the transform will come from the function inputs, and we can just remove this new and call it just transform, okay? So that's basically it. We can compile and save, and now we can start creating our equip function, which will call this attach child based on the item that we are equipping, okay? So here on the functions, we're going to create a new function called equip. Now this function will receive an item ID, so ID, and this will be a name, okay? So first thing we can do over here is use the get item function that we just created and actually get the values from the item that we are trying to equip, sorry. Now here we're going to say branch from here. So if we find the item, we continue and try to equip it, okay? So here we can say break from the value. We can hide and connect it, and we can check holdable settings. Now from here we can say break, and as you can see, we have the actor that we want to attach, the socket where we want to attach to, and the transform so that we can adjust its position. So now we could call the attach child function, but this would not work on a replicated game. So in order to actually attach the object to our character, we need to communicate with the server so that the server is the one to do that, okay? So we're going to go to the event graph over here, and we're just going to add a custom event, which will be attach server. we're going to change the replicates to run on server. And now this event will receive the actor blueprint. So over here on inputs, we're going to say actor BP. This will be an actor soft class reference, okay? Because it's not loaded yet, it's coming from the data tables, so we need to load it over here. So here we're going to say load and use the async load to load the actor, okay? Now, next thing we're going to do is from this class, we're going to say cast to, actor class, like this. Now, don't forget to move this pin to the completed, not to the one that it automatically connects to, okay? And right now we are going to grab the attach child function that we have over here, okay? And we're going to grab the end object that we have over here. And this one, we're going to convert it into a validated get. So we only attach if the end object is valid, okay? Now the end object, we're going to connect to the child. This one we can connect to the is valid. And now the class will be the actor that we just loaded. And then the socket and the transform will come from the event. So we can just move it over there to the socket, and then we can move the transform over there. That's basically it. So this way we can now call this event, and we're now able to attach the actor to the hand, okay? So let's go back to the equip function. And over here, we're going to grab the attach server event that we created. We're going to connect it to the true. So if we do find the item, we're going to connect the actor blueprints, the sockets, and the transformation. So this way we can basically attach the item based on the item that we are trying to equip, okay? Now, the last thing we're going to do here is actually keep a variable that will tell us which item that we have currently equipped. So from here, we can just create a new variable and call it active item. And we can change this to name over here. And now we can grab this and say set, connect this over here. And the active item will be the ID from the function input. So get ID, this one. And that's basically it. So we get the item that we're trying to equip. We get the values, we attach the item to the hands, and we set that as our active item, okay? So if we compile and save, now we can go to our character over here, and we can just create a simple key. So for example, on the number 1 key, so 1 keyboards, this one, we can just from here say equip, which will call the AC inventory function like this, and it will connect the pin directly, as you can see. And now we have the ID that we want to equip. So in this case, I'm just going to say pistol. So this will only work if I have the pistol, right? In the next videos, we're going to implement some slot system so that we can implement based on the slot positions. But for now, we're just going to make it like this. So if I press play now, and I pick up the cube and press 1, you can see nothing happens. But if I press the pistol and now I press 1, you can see that the pistol is now attached to my hand. Now the pistol position is not good, right? And we can adjust that on our data tables. So if we go to the inventory folder, to the inventory data table, we can go to the pistol, and the transform that we have here, we can actually apply a transformation so that we can adjust it exactly on the position that we want. Now I already have these values for the pistol and the rifle, so I'm just going to copy this. The values will be on the description, so I'm just going to copy this, go over here and say paste, and this way my pistol will be positioned on the right position. So here on the rifle, I'm going to do the same thing. So I'm just going to grab all of this and copy and go to the transform of the rifle and paste it. Okay. So now if I go here and hit play, and now I pick up my pistol, and now I press 1, as you can see, the pistol will be on the exact position that I specified. Okay. Now, for people that don't have the pistol, we can also move the cube. So for that, we need the blueprint for our cube. So here on the blueprints folder, we're going to create a new folder called holdables. Okay, and open it up. Now we're going to create a new blueprint class, which will be an actor, and we can call it BP cube. Okay, this is just an example. We can open it up. First thing we're going to do is on this class defaults, we're going to replicate movements and we're going to replicates. Okay, next thing is go to default scene roots, and I'm going to add a skeletal mesh because I know that my cube is a skeletal mesh. So I'm going to add it over here, and on the skeletal mesh, I'm going to select the cube, this one. Okay, so now we have an item to attach to the hands, which is this cube right here. So if I go to cube now, and on the actor blueprint that I want to attach to the hands, if I select the cube, so the BP cube that we created, and hit save, now if I go to my character and I change the item that I want to equip to be the cube, and I hit play, I pick up the cube, I press 1, and the cube gets attached to my hand. Okay. Now, one thing that I'm going to show you is how you can adjust the positions, so how you can find the positions for your transformations, and it's very simple. So we just need to go to our character skeleton, so mannequins, meshes on the SK mannequin over here. As you can see, I already have this pistol on my hand. So if now you go into the hands R, let's find the hand R. Where is it? This one. First, I'm just going to remove all attached assets. And now on the end R, we're going to add a socket. And this socket will just serve as a debug socket so that we can find the positions for it. Okay. So now on this socket, I'm going to add a preview asset, and I'm going to select the cube actually. So it will be the skeletal cube. So as you can see now, the cube is exactly as it shows up on the game, right? Because the transform that we have on the data table is just 0, right? Which is exactly the same transform that we have over here. So if we move this to the position that we want to attach it to, so I'm just going to, you know, make something like this and move this like this so that you can understand what I'm saying. I can, for example, put the cube a little bit smaller over here on the scale. And as you can see now, I will have this position for my cube, for example. Okay. So now what we have to do after you find the position is just copy these values. So I can right here and go copy the location, go to the data table, to the location, and hit paste. Now go back, copy the rotation, copy, which is 0. I wouldn't need to paste it, so okay. But and again, the scale, copy, go to the data table, and paste the scale. Okay. So now we can compile all of this and hit play. And if I try to pick up the cube and now I press 1, you'll see that the cube is now smaller and it is on the position that I specified on the data table. Okay. Now, important thing, you shouldn't leave this debug sockets over here. So you should also right click and remove all attached assets, and then delete all the lost sockets that are over here. Okay, so now we can save all, and that's basically it. So now you can attach items to the hands, and in the next video we will see how to detach the items, and then also how to create a simple slot system so that we can have the num keys working depending on the slots. Okay, so I hope you liked it, guys. I hope you learned something with it, and don't forget to subscribe.